All right, here we go. This is Destiny, the Taken King there, which is the second release of it. So it actually has all the content up to date. There's an old Destiny. I don't remember what it's called, or maybe it's just plain Destiny. But that, uh, if you bought that, you would essentially not have any of the up to date stuff on it. So Taken King's the newest one. And I think it's like $30 right now. The game's sort of like Borderlands in that you have character classes and weapons and some gear, level upgrades and skill trees and that kind of stuff. There are three main classes: the Titan, the Warlock, and the Hunter. Titan's currently my favorite one. Just a moment here and it'll pull up the character list. You can have three characters on your account at any given time. I I really do like the Warlock, and I played him for a while, so you can see he's pretty much exactly the same as my Titan right now. The Warlock has kind of a more mystical set of powers to him, whereas the Titan is sort of a soldier. I think, in my opinion, he seems a little bit more tanky than the Warlock. Definitely with some of the power sets he has. One, he has kind of a bubble shield he can put around himself and teammates that prevent all incoming attacks and everything. So it's pretty cool. The Hunter I've barely touched. He's got some stealth powers and some interesting superpowers that are really effective in PvP so far as I've seen. This is the one that Jason has been playing primarily. So let's see. Now, the max level for any character is level 40. But beyond that, you have this other, this yellow number under here, which is your light level. And that goes up independently, and it's based on a combination of all your weapons and armor. And getting it higher and higher gets more difficult as you go. So 330 has been a lot of hours of finding gear and nitpicking what I keep and what I get rid of, and trying to get that number as high as I can. I think the game's current limit right now is 335. All right, I will start off here with the Titan. Now, whenever you start the game, or when you're in between objectives or missions or whatever you're doing, you're essentially in orbit around whatever planet you were at last. And first thing I'm going to do is cut down the volume on this. 1 second. Drop it down to like there. What's kind of cool about being in orbit is you have a spaceship, and everybody starts with the same spaceship, and then through participating in certain events or doing certain missions, getting lucky unlocking chests on different planets, you have a chance to get new spaceships. You can also buy them, although they're going to be less rare and less interesting if you just buy them outright. But even though they're only cosmetic, this is just what you look like when you're in orbit. Although when you play with somebody else, like say if we were doing co-op and we formed a fire team, you would see both of our ships kind of hovering here together up above Earth. One moment. Muting the microphone so I can clear my throat here. But I'll show you the ships, which I just find really interesting and fun to collect. So you can come in here and get like a preview of what they look like. But at the moment, it took me a lot of work to get this particular one, and I'm very partial to it. There's a series of missions that you have to kind of get lucky on after you've done them for a while, and open up the faction there, and you have a chance of getting this style of ship. There's different colors and a slightly different body. I'm very fond of it. Okay, so A quick overview of the way the characters are. You have every character has 3 weapons. You have your primary weapon, which is the one that you use most often, has the most ammo. There's different varieties of these. My favorite is the auto rifle, which you can see here, which is just kind of hold down the the fire button and it shoots a whole lot of bullets. There's hand cannons, which are pistols. They have low magazine count. You have to pull the trigger each time you shoot, but they have high damage, and usually headshots, especially in PvP, if you're really good with them, they can take out people really quick. I'm not so good, and I really dislike using machine gun style weapons. There's also pulse rifles, which actually, no, I might be saying that wrong. There's one that does a short burst. I forget what they're called. And then there's a scout rifle, which it's like a rifle that does single shots, but they're also more powerful. Secondary weapons, more powerful but less ammunition. These include shotguns, sniper rifles, sidearms, and then there's the pulse rifles, which you hold down the trigger and it charges up, and then it fires off a rapid burst of a lot of bullets. So having to hold that charge is sort of its weakness, but that burst does a whole lot of damage, and if you can pull it off just right, they're really good. My current favorite is the shotgun, though. Then there's the heavy weapons, which include rocket launchers, these really large machine guns that do a whole lot of damage, hold quite a bit of ammo, but the overall ammo that you have for heavy weapons is the lowest amount you can carry, and possibly the least likely for you to pick up off the ground when you're fighting. So it's a little rare, but when you do pull them out, they do lots of damage. Equipment in this game works similar to Borderlands. You have, I don't have any lower stuff to show here, but it starts with white, then there's green, then blue, then purple, which you see primarily on my character here is the purple, more rare stuff. Legendary is what it's called. And then you have sort of like the orange stuff, the super rare stuff, which is yellow in this game. And the way yellow works is you can only have one yellow weapon equipped at a time, and then you can only have one yellow piece of armor equipped at a time. So in this case, my shotgun, it's yellow, and it actually regenerates ammunition, which, in my opinion, makes it absolutely fantastic. It's my favorite weapon in the game, just since it's a nice strong shotgun, and there's just always ammo for it, which is fantastic. Next, usual armor stuff: helmet, arms, which includes your gloves, your chest piece, your boots, which are also your leggings, and then this sort of ornament thing that for Titans is something that hangs on their side like a little flag. The hunter is actually a cloak, and the warlock has sort of an armband that sometimes can look pretty cool. In addition to this, every class has 3 subtrees, which are all similar in that they have void damage, electric damage, and fire damage. And then under each subclass, you have a skill tree, or sort of a skill tree, that as you level up, and this is independent of your moving to level 40, so you can technically be level 40 and your skill tree can be barely trained if you played that way. So you have to have a skill tree equipped while you're gaining XP for these things to start to unlock. And this green circle, you can see that it's fully around each one, but while they're leveling up, you'll see it like partially surround it until it finally completes, and then that particular skill is unlocked. These are skills related to the damage type and the class, so they're different for everybody. I really do like the electricity powers for the Titan, but I also really like the void damage, which is the one that has the pop around shield, which I think I'll show you here. So I actually keep a few different pieces of armor depending on which subclass I'm going to use. In this case, I'll I'm going to equip this helmet, which gives my shield additional defensive properties, which is pretty cool. And then, oh, and this is your little ghost companion. He's like a little computer guy that talks to you and shows you things, and you can pull it out while you're on missions or whatever. And that's it. That's just other things. You have stats which are based off of what you're wearing. So your intellect, discipline, and strength determines your melee, your superpower. Which superpowers are different for each class and different again for each subclass. So that's kind of cool. And these things determine how quickly those things reset and you can use them again. So and in the case of my Titan, I really value his melee attack. So I keep his strength high. You can see it reduces the cooldown of my special melee attack to 25. You can punch all you want, but for that power for it to execute, you have to wait for the cooldown. So there's that. Now, this takes place across the solar system. So there's the you start off with all of your missions and everything on planet Earth, and you can see you zoom into Earth, and you'll see a map that shows you these are all the missions I've completed. Each emblem means it's a different kind of mission. Interestingly, I have a new mission which I don't even know what that is, so I'll have to go find that out. But as you play and as you unlock more of the story, different planets become available to you. So you can see, and then there's also other parts that are just out there in the solar system, like this Dreadnought is actually an enemy ship that's just quite large in the rings of Saturn, and you can go land on that ship and do particular missions. In addition to that, I'm actually going to go land. It's very similar to any RPG, I think, just with different names for different things. So when you need to go to town, you can go to the tower, and that's where the merchants are, and you pick up your missions and things like that. And there's a second one that unlocks later on the reef here. You can go land on the reef and pick up similar things. It's almost the same with very few differences. So I'm going to go land on the tower to show you what that looks like. Depending on where you are and what you select, it'll determine what it looks like when you're going there. So since the tower is just here alongside Earth, I'll just kind of fly across the atmosphere here. And you'll see, if you're with a fire team, you'll see their ships in your formation, which I think is a pretty nice touch. And it can be cool if you have a fire team of 6 players, which you need to have for some types of missions. A lot of the missions that are in this game, the vast majority of them are made for 3 players, which sucks for me and Jason because there's a lot of things we can't do unless we pick up a third random guy. So this is the tower, all friendly. You'll see other players that are running around doing crap. It has a bank, you can store, weapons, which is the bank is the same for all of your characters. So if you pick something up for something that doesn't fit your guy, you can drop it in the bank and come back with your other character and pick it up. When you pick up a lot of gear, it'll be encrypted, which means it just needs to be identified. And this is the guy that will identify that stuff for you. So what makes the game, or what gives this game a lot of open-endedness is there's this bounty board here, which updates every day and has a series of things. The bottom is PvE, so just solo playing stuff, and the top is PvP. Certain things like, get this, like for example, get 3 kills while your team is leading, and then you get a reward for completing it. Same thing with this, Patrol Venus, gets so many kills without dying, and so on. So I usually just pick all these up. They're pretty easy if you play like an hour or so to just knock out a whole bunch of them and get some rewards for doing so. The place is kind of big. I think I don't actually know what would be interesting to show you, but I will show you where you can pick up ships, because I think that part's kind of cool. So this is the hangar. Everybody that comes and lands on the tower, you can actually come over here and watch their ship come in and sort of dock, which I think is kind of a cool touch. Up here is the lady that sells ships. So you can see these also I'll show you in a little bit. Right here, just the different ships that you can pick up. You'll notice that the ships have the same type of classifications as armor and weapons. So there's white, green, blue, purple. I don't think that there are yellow ships. You can kind of see what they look like before you pick them up, and they serve no function other than to just look cool while you're hovering in space. And that's it. So here I'm going to pull out my ghost, which you can see he's kind of hovers above my palm here, and I'm going to go back into orbit. So I'll show you. That's interesting. I think sometimes if your connection is wonky, you'll get a message like that. Hopefully that doesn't mess up my recording here. All right, I will first just show you. I'll go land on the moon. So there are missions that you can do, and like on the moon, all of mine are completed, so you don't see any indicators over any of them letting you know that there's something that you currently have going on that needs to be taken care of. But there, on each location, there's also these patrol missions, which are open-ended. You land on the surface, you pick up a patrol, and you go do it for XP and money and that kind of stuff. So I'll hop down there and do a patrol mission. Hopefully. I feel like that certainly can't be good. So yeah, this is usually not how this goes. Usually you just hop in right into it, just like I did on the tower. But now we're getting these. Yeah, maybe I got booted out to the front. Yep. I can tell it's not my internet connection because I'm actually playing this over the internet from the office. So both sides are functioning well. It's got to be the Destiny servers. All right, I'll put this on hold, and I'll make you a second video whenever things come back up.
2,000 years later.
All right, everything's back up. Since that happened, I actually thought of a few other quick things I was going to show you. One is the different armor pieces that you pick up as you piece them together. And in my case, in particular, I have a mixture of, I guess, types of armor. The arm piece here, the Jovian Guard, is actually what I'd really like to have my whole set, but they're kind of hard to come by, so at the moment it's just the arm piece itself. But when you start to mix and match different things based on stats or whatever, so you can see like these particular boots have they increase the amount of shotgun ammo I can carry, which I'm really fond of since I like the shotgun, and the same goes for this chest piece. Well, as you start to piece them together, your color palette can start to look a little strange. And what they have, similar to picking up ships and other things, they have these things called shaders, which also have a range of rarity of white, green, blue, and purple. And these allow you to change the appearance of your characters and make all of everything match in a particular color scheme. So, for example, there's this Yesternight one here, and you can see it can really change the way your character looks. And sometimes these can be really cool to pick up. Like most of the stuff, I like collecting them just for the aesthetics of them. There's a faction I belong to, this Dead Orbit, and this is one of their emblems here, which is another thing. If you can see my name up here in the top, has a banner behind it, which is similarly, you pick these up for doing different things. And Dead Orbit has given me a couple of them, including shaders, for advancing in the ranks of their faction. So this Revenant one is my favorite currently. I just like the black and the black, white, and gray. In addition to that, there's emotes that you can pick up, which these bind to the D-pad on the controller, and 3 directions are always the same. Wave at somebody, sit down, and some other thing, I don't remember. But the 4th one is something that you can put whatever you want in there, and some of these I think are sort of hilarious. There's a whole lot to choose from. The ones like the slow clap, just a nice sarcastic, but the dances always make me laugh. I think this Carlton dance is possibly my favorite one so far. Just awesome. There's air guitars, etc., but I enjoy the emotes. A lot of the other binding one is the default dance for each class, which is also just fun. A lot of people, when you're waiting for something to load or the next objective to open up, they'll just stand around dancing all the time. So back to where we were before, I'm going to hop down to Earth. Oh no, I was going to the moon before, I believe. And again, I'm going to take the patrol mission. And the patrols are kind of nice when you're leveling up. If, say, you've burned away all of your patrol missions for the day. Not patrol missions, those quests that I showed you at the bounty board. So bounties. So you can see here I've got quite a few bounties. The PvE ones are all that I picked up. These green ones here belong to a different set, and son of a horror, the Destiny servers. They did an update yesterday, and I think I guess they're having a problem with it because I've been reading other people having the same issue. So we'll see if I can actually get down to the moon this time. Yep, not feeling very confident about this one. See if there's anything else. I guess I can show you these things. When you're on a planet's surface, you eventually unlock these things that are kind of like you'll see them. They're almost like Star Wars, like speeders. You can call one from your disconnected. All right, so I didn't actually get booted out. Let's see if I can get down to the moon this time. Sort of like having a mount in World of Warcraft. It just lets you get around more quickly. It doesn't really serve any other purpose than traveling from point A to point B. But they're quite cool. There we go. That looks good. So here's my loading screen. Essentially, you can see I'm traveling away from where I was to a new location. So you'll kind of do this hyperspace transition here. This distorted view, you can see it's a little pixely and whatnot. That's the connection between my computer here at work and my PS4. So sometimes you get get some ugliness in your remote play screen. I feel like I picked a really terrible time of day to do this video. This actually is usually a pretty short loading screen, but with this contacting Destiny servers, I guess it's going to take a little longer. I'll mute this for just a moment and see if it actually loads. Okay, I think they have their issues resolved now. We'll see about that. I was gonna, I'll actually talk about a few other things here. So, as I said before, each of the planets has all their missions. You unlock things as you progress, and this is just the normal story mode. In addition to doing pretty much everything on this path, you can do solo or you can do with other people, up to 3. In addition to this, you have these Crucible options, Vanguard, etc. These are this is PvP, and these are kind of strike missions, which are harder 3-man missions, which you can see here. It has a recommended light level of 260, and then they have ones that are easier for level 20 and so forth. But the Crucible actually has quite a number of different PvP matchups that you can do. The variety makes it kind of fun, like capture, some types are like capture the flag or every man for himself, that kind of thing. But in addition to that, once you've actually hit level 40, you've beat every mission. What you have left are these kind of submissions, which might be specific to your class and other things, which is what you see on these banners here. And these will much more slowly progress than simply jumping into a mission, going start to finish, or doing these bounty missions that you have. So many of these I don't even know how to begin or start, since I haven't got to the point where I'm trying to get into that detail of the game yet. But in addition to that, they will have these daily things that, and sometimes weekly. There's different objectives that update each week and different ones that update each day. But doing these require a fairly, for the most part, will require a high light level or a high-ish light level. And say like this one is essentially just a solo story you can do solo or with 2 other players. It's just a replay of a previous mission, but it'll be a lot harder. And as a reward, once per day, you'll get 15 legendary marks, which is a currency you use for high-end gear and other types of transactions. So it's kind of nice to even after you beat the game, get on each day and then come on and bump these, go through each of these and get your legendary marks. In addition to that, there's this place called the Prison of Elders, which sort of a lot of enemies are kind of tucked away into this prison. You drop in the middle of it, and then this kind of arena announcer guy will let out waves of enemies. You have to do it with 2 other people. and if you survive, you come into the middle, drop down into a big treasure room, and get some stuff. It's actually really fun. I do this one quite a lot, and they have a weekly Challenge of the Elders, which is like a more difficult prison arena. You can see it's a recommended 320 light level, and it almost always guarantees an exotic or very rare nice weapon for completing it. Okay, so all that being said, we're not going to do any particular mission right now. We're just going to go patrol the moon. And as you can see, since I was last playing, the moon was where I was headed, so it's got me now over in space just over the moon here. This is also when you open patrols on any of the planets, it's nice because you can go down and kind of explore. A lot of these have really large areas that you can move around in, and it's nice to learn how to move around the different locations. So on the moon, you always land in the same spot when you're doing patrol. If you have something you want to go explore or whatever, and it's kind of far away, this is when your little vehicle comes into play. So I'm gonna pull out my ghost here, summon my bike, and this bike I put together with some I guess some gear that I bought that gives me a green fire trail behind it, because I just think that's cool. But I really feel like the sound effects have a kind of a Star Wars feel to it. So this way you can cruise around more easily, get to where you're headed. There's a blinking green light right there that you see. That is a patrol mission, which you can pick up. They're all over the place. They're like these little beacons that get shot down. You can see another one up ahead here. You pick them up, take care of them on the planet surface, and you get sort of like an immediate quest reward for doing so. So also there's this little gray and white icon above it. Lets you know what kind it is, and this particular one is just kill a bunch of bad guys, which is my favorite since it's pretty easy to do.
Enemies here are making scouting impossible, but Dead Orbit will pay for their elimination.
So I'll get my faction is interested in me completing this one. I like to go in these little caves because sometimes you'll find a treasure inside. And I wouldn't mind showing you one of those. So I'm gonna go peek in this. Oh, everybody has these kind of some kind of extended jump ability, whereas the guy I'm playing right now, he's got this lift power, which kind of almost like rocket boots. And as you advance, you get different types of boosting abilities. Then you choose, you can choose down the line which one is the one that you like to use. I think the Warlock has double and triple jump, and I'm sorry, that's the Hunter has the double triple jump. The Warlock has sort of a gliding power, so it's it doesn't move you through the air as quickly as the Titan is. And the Titan is sort of my favorite jumping power. Right, I hear somebody up here. So where'd he go? What the hell? So I'm gonna, so you see I killed one guy. I got 7% credit up there on the left for my kill stuff mission. I head over this way. On my radar on the top left, you can see a red light letting you know there's enemies nearby. You can get precision shots for hitting in the head. It'll kill them faster, and you get a nice little decapitation. That guy did not get it. Lovely. Oh, I'll show you something else here in a second. Here's a melee punch. I use my power on that, so that's regenerating there in the bottom left. As this particular class, you can see my hit point bar change to blue, and like my hand under my gun there is purple. That melee attack sort of put a temporary shield around me, which can absorb quite a lot of damage. So that's one of the things that makes Titan a pretty good tank. that shield is really handy, especially when you're getting swarmed by a lot of stuff. Okay, here we go. So in this particular cave, and these just show up randomly. For the most part, they're not very exciting. You see, I got that top part of the blue 37 glimmer. That's the cache in the game. Plus 2 helium filaments, which is the resource that you can collect on the moon. Every planet has its own resource that you use, and those are used for weapon upgrades and armor upgrades and that sort of thing. Alright, I'm gonna move on a little bit. It seems to be pretty well cleared out here. There are a bunch of different styles and colors of these bikes that you can get too, which is really cool. And they also, the more rare and whatnot that they are. Oh, if I have it up right now, I'm going to go ahead and use his superpower, which is this kind of cool dome shield. No enemy fire can pass into it. You can't shoot out of it, but it's really good for taking a breather if you're getting overwhelmed, and your friends can come inside of it, which is really nice. The helmet that I put on that has that kind of mohawk thing on top, if an enemy steps into it, it blinds them, which makes them completely unable to do anything, which is really nice. So that's part of what makes it exotic, is it giving you a little bit of boost to your power. Alright, what was I saying earlier? Oh, see, I don't even remember. Although I'm almost done here with my mission. Pull up my heavy weapon, which is my sword here. It actually has ammo, so essentially every swing of it will use or consume one of those. Wow. So there we go.
That didn't go
250 glimmer on the right, 44 faction for Vanguard, and then another amount of faction that I didn't catch for the particular faction I belong to, Dead Orbit. Alright. So I killed this guy, and it dropped this green brick here, which is ammo for your secondary weapon. Green is secondary, white is for your primary, and then purple is for your heavy. You can also buy these items at the vendors, which you can use once every 5 minutes, that will refill your ammo if you run out. Just as handy in a pinch. That eyeball looking thing is a servitor. They're kind of neat. Make some interesting sounds. Oh yeah, and grenades. Grenades are huge. There's different grenades for each class, and then a set of different grenade types that fall under each subclass. So there's quite a variety, and they all do different things. Some of them are just really cool. The one that I tossed there just sticks to enemies, which is really fun since they can't get away from it or escape the blast. Also really handy in PvP. I see some... Oh, there's a cave over here. I'll peek inside. I don't know why I'm obsessed with these chests. They'll occasionally... So there I am, charged again, ready to use my shield. And occasionally the chests will have items in them, like, you know, armor, or and then even super rare, they will have a blueprint for a new spaceship. Alright. I think that will probably... That's probably seen enough here. Oh, these guys that I'm fighting here, they're called the Fallen. These are the... they all have... All the different alien races have really deep storylines to them. And these minions are... they're four-armed... or they're a four-armed race, but they have their second set of arms cut off for whatever, you know, I guess thing they have done to dishonor them and make them the lowliest members of their race. And then you've got like these Vandals here. They're four-armed. They're a higher ranking member of the Fallen. Right now there's 4 different alien races, and now these are enemy alien races. There's several, I guess, that you can pick from when you're making your character as well. and I hear a beacon beeping away down there. I actually don't remember. I think this is a scouting mission. So I'll pick it up and then...
This is our history out here. New Monarchy will pay to recover it. Mission parameters will follow.
Logs transferred. Oh, okay. So this is like you need to go to a place and get some logs, which you use your ghost to acquire. Also, if you don't know where any of those scout missions are, if you pull up your ghost, it'll highlight them on your map and show you how far away they are. So the ghost is really handy for getting around and finding objectives, or if you don't know where to go next, that kind of thing. So this might seem a little dull. This is more like the exploration and miscellaneous. Like, I don't have anything else to do, so I'm going to go do some scouts. The missions have much more, like, you know, clear objectives. You're moving from room to room, getting swarmed by enemies and that kind of thing. I didn't think that would be cool to show because you can get stuck for a long time in one of those sometimes. Oops, dropped it too early. So now I'm going to hop back up to orbit, which you can do from pretty much anywhere. And as a final thing here, I think I'm going to go... I'd actually really like to show you the prison. To me, that's one of the more entertaining things to do, but a typical prison run, it'll match you with two strangers off the internet. Or like, say, if we were in a fire team, it would find a random third guy to throw in with us. But it takes about 30 minutes to do a full prison run, so that's not really a good thing to make a video of right now. So here you can see with this purple triangle, I've got some kind of objective here, but this is a raid, which is a 6-man team. It does not let you play with strangers. You have to you actually have to get together with 6 people and plan, and they're the most challenging part of this game. I've only done one time, and it was ridiculously difficult. So maybe if, say, you know, you and Jason and I actually played or something, maybe that would be fun to do one day. But it's a 6-man team, and every person has things they need to do. It requires a crap load of teamwork. It's a lot of, you know, puzzly stuff that you got to figure out, and it's very challenging. But the rewards are, you know, tons of rare drops and loot and all kinds of stuff. And loot really is a big part of this game.
Did you see that? I think that patch of chitin just blinked at me.
So this is the Dreadnought, which is a giant alien ship that belongs to the guys whose names I can't remember off the top of my head at the moment. It's been damaged, and it's been infiltrated not only by the Guardians, which are the good guys, but you'll actually run into just about every alien race here. Let's see if I can show you some of those guys. So here we've got the Cabal, which are like they kind of look like those big dudes out of the Fifth Element. Here, they originate from Mars, and see, there's another Guardian here. A lot of times when you go on missions, you'll be alone, but when you do the patrol ones, anybody that's in the vicinity, you'll see them here doing other crap. This is one of my favorite places to come visit because it's got a lot of like hidden areas. Oh yeah, the resource on the Dreadnought is worm spore, which you'll see growing on these like husks of bodies or whatever. Let's see, somebody's taking all these guys out. Looks like I see some Fallen back there, which are sort of like almost like a horror movie type alien race. They got some real scary stuff around them. Like there's this hole here where I almost always find a treasure chest. And yeah, there's one right here. There's also other things. You can find these kind of rare runes, which you can come put into this machine. which will make a big drop ship fly in outside and drop off this huge ogre that you have to kill. And it's like a bunch of, the game is filled with little things like that that you can do. And then you kill the ogre, you do some other stuff, and then you get access to some very rare chests. This is one of the Cabal ships that actually came inside the Dreadnought and crashed in here. So once you go inside, the interior will be different than what you see in the rest of the Dreadnought. It's the Cabal technology and layout and whatnot, but you can explore their entire ship, which is kind of cool. And then you'll also occasionally have missions that bring you in here up to the bridge and that kind of stuff. So that's kind of it. I can't think of anything else that would be easy to go into in sort of short time frame. Hopefully I can link all these videos together. I was hoping for just one video, but the bizarre network issue they had made that really difficult. Let me see here. So beyond your weapons and items, you also pick up a lot of other things. Like these weird pumpkin heads you can wear that I picked up on the Halloween events. So they do different events throughout the year. They have every month they have a PvP tournament called Iron Banner, which is actually where I got this particular gun that I'm very fond of, and this chest piece that I'm very fond of. It's got the wolves from the House of Wolves, which is one of the factions that exists in the world. So there's always something going on, and it's really the amount of in-game content is considerable, and there's really almost always something to do, even once you've maxed yourself out and you're just chasing down slight improvements to your gear. So there you go. Hopefully you can pick it up. So right now the game is $30 for the full Taken King release, which includes all the DLC up to this point in the game's life. In September, there's an update coming out that adds a lot more stuff, and that I think is going to be $30 as well. So if you started playing and you liked it, then probably you'd be interested in getting that extra pickup in September. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed it.